Nope.
Nope.
I'm not on this show.
Josh has left the meeting. What? Where'd you go?
I'm not even here right now.
Oh, I don't pay for suits. My suits are on the house, or the house burns down.
Welcome back to the Red Right Hand Podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of, you guessed it, the Peaky Blinders. I'm Curtis.
And I'm Josh.
That was a little delayed, but okay. Alrighty. Welcome to the party. All right, man. Today we have Tinysode number 7, the technically the final episode of the Red Right Hand Podcast. God knows when we'll be back. Who knows? The world may end before that.
There'll be some episodes.
There'll be some episodes. I don't know when. Because you know what? I meant to tell you this last week. I read the other day where, let's see, I think they said they're close to finishing the script on the movie.
Okay.
Just like, all right, cool. And then they also said that Cillian Murphy has signed on to reprise his role as Thomas Shelby, which is even better. And then there was the bad news of production probably wasn't going to start for like another year to like 18 months. I was like, oh, man. So I was like, yeah. So we're looking at what, 25, 26 maybe before we even get a movie. So,
yeah,
we're gonna have to be pretty creative between now and then. But that's why we're doing some other shows while we're at it too. So, yeah.
All right, yeah. You can watch these other shows to fill the void in time and the void in your life.
Heart. Exactly. Yeah. Alrighty, man. So, like I said, today's Tinysode number 7. I think I'm going to title this one a podcast in review. Think about that. Sound pretty good?
Sounds pretentious as hell. Let's do it.
Okay, good. So there's 3 parts to this Tinysode. The first one, we're going to have to get in my time machine. Now, we've done this before. And the last time we got in the time machine, you were in control of the production. So I was not allowed to have my sound effects. But guess what? Now I'm in control and I can have my sound effects from my time machine. All right. So you can suck it.
When did this happen?
Let me take you on a journey, sidetrack to Tinysode number 2. When we were talking about the history of the IRA, and I wanted to take you back to like, I don't know, like way back, close to like year 0 to talk about some Irish stuff. And we got in our time machine, but you wouldn't let me do the sound effects. I had the clip, but I didn't put it in here, so I can't play it for you. So there's not really evidence at this moment. But
no, I thought this was all right. No. Okay, well,
no, I kind of got sidetracked on that one. Yeah, let's get in the time machine.
I was like, I thought this was for sure building to me hearing the sound, so I kept like stopping.
No,
and waiting.
I meant to put that one in there, but I forgot. Anyway, okay. Now to the real time machine stuff. I want to take you back to May 5th, 2021. Does that sound familiar at all?
No.
Are you serious? Okay. You barely remember yesterday, don't you?
It's a random day in May.
No, it won't be random once you know the significance of it. So May 5th, 2021, you and I, sir, sat down at that little glass desk that now you can't see because Peaky Blinders are standing behind you, but there's a glass desk behind you. And we sat down at that glass desk in the middle of that room that you're sitting in now with 2 microphones, 1 crappy laptop that no longer exists. And the 2 microphones were stacked on top of about 9 or 8 books each, leaning tower of books there. And we sat down and we recorded season 1, episode 1 of the Red Right Hand Podcast.
Welcome to the Red Right Hand Podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of the BBC/Netflix hit TV show, The Peaky Blinders. In this podcast, we'll be covering each episode from the show from all 5 seasons. We'll probably be doing some of the new seasons as well when those come around.
Yeah, when and if. Hopefully soon.
You heard it. We gave you guys an extra season. We only promised to do 5.
Yeah. Did we said something about season 6 and 7, didn't we? Maybe not in that clip. There was a little bit later on. I think I said something about 6 or 7 because at that point when we recorded that, they were talking about, there was no mention of, oh, well, this is going to be the end of it, season 6. They were like, oh no, we got 2 more seasons to go, man. What are you talking about? So, but anyway, yeah, the Red Right Hand podcast was born on that date, May 5th, 2021. Now we had some good times. We talked about obviously the Shelby brothers and different stuff like that. But our next little clip here wants to talk about the surroundings of Birmingham.
But getting back to it, Tommy leaves there and passes down through some alleys. It gives us a little overview of Small Heath. I feel like there's men begging. There's definitely a lot of, like, you can see the poverty.
It's a kind of a factory town too. I mean, there's a lot of open factories around and a lot of fires going up and everything like that. It's pretty cool to me. But
there's industry going on here. Can you see it?
Yes, industry, Josh. Can you see the industry?
Dude, I forgot that I left the TV on through like most of that first episode.
That's one of the things I love so much about going back and re-listening to this episode. I was like, did you leave the TV on? I don't remember leaving the TV on. And then I started thinking, like, what were we even watching? And I feel like it was either It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or it was Archer. And I want to say it was Archer, to be honest. Because I remember there was a couple of times we had Archer on playing in that first season.
Yeah.
Because I got distracted by it and be looking at it, go, oh yeah, we're recording a podcast. Yeah, I should probably get to paying attention to what he's saying.
Yeah, that first,
or I say yes or no to something.
That first season is not great. If you're listening to this one and maybe you've come back after listening to the first couple episodes and you're like, this is not for me. Check out the later seasons because it's at least a little better. I'm gonna say a little bit better.
I mean, it was our first go, right? Yeah. So I mean,
the production is at least a little bit better.
That's true. That is very true. Yes, that is very true. Going back, Josh, and listening to this first episode again, I found one thing that's kind of common in this next clip that we've heard several times throughout the Peaky Blinders episodes, and this words of wisdom comes from Arthur. And while we're at it too, we're going to talk a little bit about Arthur's voice and some of the brothers' accents in this next clip.
With him for doing the powder trick. He says he's getting mixed up with the Chinese, and Tommy says that times are hard and people need a reason to lay a bet.
The Chinese. Now, wait a minute. Haven't we heard that somewhere before?
What, the Chinese people exist?
Well, no, not that, but Arthur's told Tommy several times, man. It's like, don't get involved with the Chinese. Don't get involved with the Chinese. And Tommy's even admitted to Arthur, he's like, you're right. I shouldn't have gotten involved with the Chinese.
So, well, it seems to be it's kind of like a general rule of their business. When Arthur first brings it up to him, he says, we don't do business with the Chinese. He doesn't ask him not to. He says, we don't,
Right.
And so I think it's something, that's long standing for them. They've never done any business with them. They don't do that. Maybe they did at one point, somewhere way back, and that's why they don't.
Right. Well, I think he also tells them at one point when they got involved with the Russians, is like, don't get involved with the Russians either.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely something behind that. I don't think he just woke up one day and was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with these people,
Yeah.
So there's gotta be more to it. But anyway, back to the clip. Just kind of between, we've heard Tommy speak and he's kind of got a rough voice. Kind of, I don't know, it almost kind of elegant, but kind of rough too. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But then I remember watching for the first time and hearing Arthur's voice, and it's very, rough. Some almost like somebody's been screaming, for a long time, and then it's just you kind of get that roughness in your voice. And to me, it kind of definitely showed that okay, this guy is the older one. He's kind of in charge. He's got the ruffier voice. I don't know. Just kind of seemed more of a boss, at the time. And side note, I really liked his haircut too. So yeah, you can't go wrong with the hair.
Yep. Or
the mustache either, but
it didn't even really hit me until now, but their two accents are so different also.
Yeah.
You've got Arthur that talks that way, and it's almost like very British Cockney,
Right, yeah.
And then you've got Tommy, who speaks very well, I feel like, and very properly.
Right.
But it's also the two different sides of them, because Arthur is very rough and tumble and just the fighter. And then Tommy, who is also a fighter, is also the guy who's trying to bring them up a little bit in the world,
Right.
their social status.
Right, yeah. Trying to bring some class.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh, the haircut thing. Yeah, I liked his haircut in the first season. At times it kind of got weird. I think.
Yeah.
I didn't like it this last season. Of course, I think it was just the fact that he looked really super old and skinny in the face too. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. Anyway, question for you, Josh. We've had a few laughs and some good times on this podcast, right?
No.
So,
yes,
okay.
We've had many laughs and many good times.
Okay, good. Ways, laughs, and games, Josh. Sometimes you and I, we get down to business and we talk some serious stuff. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. What are you about to play?
Nothing bad. It's just you and I actually sat down here in this first episode and talked a little bit about war and the aftermath of war.
Another thing that I wrote down was, for the times are hard and people need a reason to lay a bet, was because there's always rise in organized crime post-war, especially massive war, World War I for them. Over there, the story takes place right after the end of World War I. Then also Vietnam in America, because that was the huge rise of MC culture, was a lot of the big ones anyway, the ones that were doing, the ones about.
Right, yeah.
It was all after Vietnam.
Right. There's definitely something about right after war, people trying to pick up the pieces and, times being tough, and you start kind of getting desperate to do different things, and you find, safe havens in different people. And I don't know,
you're doing what you know.
Oh, for
what
sure.
You've done.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing, when you're trained to just kill somebody.
Yeah. And you come back and there's not,
it's hard to go. Right. It's hard to go back to a factory job or, whatever. I'm a butcher or whatever.
But I think I think it's better now. I don't 100%.
I don't know. Yeah.
But
there's programs out there.
Yeah.
For people coming back from stuff like that. Now, back then it was just like, hey, here's a gun. Well, go fight for your country. And then when you get back, go back to what you're doing, make us, our economy good, or whatever.
I think the deal with Vietnam too was I always heard that when those guys got back, it was just there was no help for them. That there was no.
Well, and that's,
there was no programs for them. There was nobody trying to get these guys jobs. Right. And a lot of these guys were not getting jobs because they were vets. People were turning them away for that.
Right. You look at between World War II, how it ended in terms of here in America, people coming back, there's celebration in the streets. There's, you've seen the famous pictures, the guy kissing the girl, different stuff like that. It was a celebration for those guys to come back. Go, the Vietnam, however many years later, 20, 30 years later, they're protesting you when you come back. They're calling you a baby killer and different stuff like that. So you just kind of get thrown to the wayside. And I think especially after the Vietnam, you saw the rise of homelessness. People that had lost limbs, and I mean the mental like destruction that war does on you, and especially Vietnam War. I mean it's horrible, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely two different worlds there, but you're right. I mean, people, when you're taught to do one thing for even just a year, it's hard to change it and go back to what you were doing before, but I don't know.
Yeah. And it's just a combination of all those things. It's when it's something that and when there's no opportunity, and when there's need.
Right.
Like your needs.
Right.
Like when those three things come together, it's like, what won't you do?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Some heavy stuff. Some heavy
I keep forgetting
stuff.
We're listening to a clip, but
what do you think? We're actually talking to each other?
No, I just almost interjected a couple times.
Hey, that's fine. You can interject. I don't care. You'd be like, no, you idiot. No, you don't know what you're talking about. Is that what you mean? Or
no, I should.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
Anyway, hey, I got another question for you, Josh.
All right.
Who's Sam Neill?
Sam Neill?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Oh, brother. Enjoy the clip, Josh.
Neill.
Enjoy the clip.
Oh, wait. Is he the guy that plays
the detective, though, played by Sam Neill? Great actor choice.
I feel like I know Sam Neill. Like I know I've seen him in a million things, but like I can't think of anything right off the top.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Jurassic Park? The very first one? He's the doctor. He's the main guy.
The doctor?
Yeah, I can't remember what his character's name is, but he's the...
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's him.
Wow.
You didn't realize that?
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Josh. Does that ring a bell now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get back in the time machine here. We're actually going to come closer to where we at now, because this Sam Neill question came up again in Tinysode number 4, the quiz show, where I asked who played Inspector Campbell. So let's see what your answer was there.
I mean, I can kind of see it now, but that is so crazy.
It's coming. Right here. Coming up. What was the actor's name who played Inspector Campbell?
God, you knew you'd get me with this one because I can never remember his name.
Yup.
I know he's in Jurassic Park. He doesn't look like a Sam. Why can't I think of his name? I'm gonna need to phone in a friend.
I feel like you'd be screaming at yourself right now. It's Sam Neill! Sam Neill! Sam Neill! Can we get somebody here on the Zoom call real quick?
I keep wanting to say Alan something, but I think Alan is his name in Jurassic Park.
But I think that's Dr. Alan. So close.
I don't know. I don't know his name.
You just shoot out a guess.
Come
up with the funniest name you can think of. Wait for it.
John Cena.
No.
Played by John Cena.
Oh, buddy.
Inspector Campbell, played by John Cena.
By John Cena. Oh, buddy. It gets worse.
Was it Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
There's better. No help for you, buddy. There's no help for you. You're getting hotter. You're getting colder, actually. Yeah, it's getting further away. Now his actor is Sam Neill.
God, yeah, I never remember that.
Yeah. Obviously. Old Sammy Neill. Inspector Campbell.
That's embarrassing. It is embarrassing.
Oh, brother. Oh, my gosh. So, Josh, who's Sam Neill?
He's Inspector Campbell,
Alrighty.
Dr.
We'll
Allen.
have I feel like we'll have another quiz show in about a year or two, and I'll pop that question back in there. See if you remember it. You know what? Actually, I think no, never mind. I was about to say, I think I'll just use the same questions. You'll just go back and watch that episode again.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. This next clip actually doesn't pertain to you. It actually pertains to me. So enjoy.
Because I should know who Sam Neill is. I shouldn't have to be like the guy from
Oh, yeah, I
Jurassic
forgot.
Park. Oh
I forgot that
God.
part was in
Is that
there.
your final answer?
Guy
I'm
from
too
Jurassic
old to
Park.
just be that guy I saw one time in Jurassic Park.
Okay, then now this clip is about me. Probably just wives. And
yeah, that's
the
what I
other
was gonna
guys
say.
are in the background.
Probably
but-
wives of the guys that work with them.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, just kind of one of those curious things I think about.
Yeah.
So I'm too critical about different stuff, so I want to dive too deep into people's lives on shows, but whatever.
Yeah, a fictional person's life.
Exactly.
You don't
Yes.
want to,
You know,
you don't want to delve too
I
much.
want to
It's,
delve into it, man. I
okay.
want to know every week. I want to know what they had for breakfast.
Okay.
I want to know, what their heart rate is right this second. They're
Okay.
weird stuff like that.
So you're looking for, instead of like a 30-minute episode of the show, you're looking for more like an all-day experience, like a closed circuit TV.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking for. Why is that so hard to understand, people? I want a closed circuit TV show.
Closed circuit Peaky
anyway.
Blinders.
Exactly. Closed circuit Peaky Blinders.
I didn't realize
Josh,
this was a clip show.
this is a clip show. Well,
I thought there were going to be like a couple clips.
No. Well, there's just a few more. There's a few more. Not a
Okay.
whole lot, but there's a few more. This next one, I think you'll enjoy. We actually talked about the evolution of note taking for the Peaky Blinders show. Well, first off, it's not a
Experience.
30-minute episode. It's
Are
an
they-
hour long.
are they
They're
that
hour
long? I
long.
guess
Oh,
they
yeah.
are.
They're all hour long.
Okay.
Could you imagine trying to put all of this into one 30-minute episode?
My time
though?
was so thrown off taking notes, especially too, because it seemed like an eternity.
Well, not like that though, but and I get that too, because you're having you're seeing something, you pause it, and you kind of okay, I gotta write that down real quick. Go 5 more seconds, you're like, oh, I should write that down too, whatever. But I mean, just all the action that they have going on, all these episodes, there's no way you could get done
That's
in
true.
30 minutes, man. I mean, you could, but it'd be like watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z. That is true.
What did you mean by that?
By Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah.
Think about watching when we were kids watching Dragon Ball Z, and there were 30-minute episodes, and they the fight, they would fight somebody, and it would last 7 or 8 episodes because they would take forever, with the dialogue and just fighting in general. So it felt
Yeah.
like it was just oh God, how many more episodes of this?
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but it's just this is never going to end. But I was going to say, I do remember the days of you using a yellow notepad and having it full, a page or two of notes, to now, what do you got? Shorthand notes on your phone, maybe?
Yeah, it's maybe 20 bullet points in a notes document, and most of them are
Yeah.
1 line long.
Well, and that's kind
I
of
do
what
it differently
I do, is,
now too. Before, I would watch the episode and take notes through the whole thing, and really get super detailed with it all. And now I just watch the episode, and then I watch the episode again and take notes. And that second time, I don't ever pause it. I just let it go the whole time, and I just
Oh,
jot
yeah.
down whatever I think I need to know.
Yeah. See, I usually just put short things to kind of jog my memory. So I've got on my notes right here, I have basically a name or a little description of each of these clips that we're playing. So you got intro, industry, messing with the Chinese, War equals organized crime. Sam Neill, day-to-day activities, evolution of note-taking, stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's all I really need, just because like I can read them and be like, okay, I know what it is because it jogs my memory real quick. But anyway, this next clip, we got two more. So hang tight there. This next clip, we talk about Stephen Knight, the creator of Peaky Blinders. That was Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
He did something though.
I was about to ask who did Dunkirk.
Yeah, it was Christopher Nolan, which I love Christopher Nolan, man. Man, I'm trying to figure out what this guy's name is. Stephen Knight. And I know he's tied to some movie or something. I feel like he was. He did. Okay, so he did. I don't think you've seen it. I told you about it. He did that movie with Tom Hardy. It's called Locke. And it's just, all it is just Tom Hardy. I know this sounds goofy, but it's just Tom Hardy driving around in his car. And like, it's all acted out over like telephone calls and everything like that. It's a really good movie if you haven't watched it. Have you watched that movie yet?
Oh, no.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
No.
It's got Tom Hardy in it. Tom Holland's in it too. And then there's one other guy that's in it, but I can't remember what his name is. But anyway, Tom Hardy's the only one you see. It's a pretty good movie. I mean, like for the condensed. I mean, like I said, you only see Tom Hardy. And it's just him driving around in his car. So, but it's great acting though. Anyway, this last clip is back to Sam Neill. But I'm not going to ask you who he plays because you already knew. Yes, we're going to be talking about Inspector Campbell's famous speech from season 1, episode 1.
After that, we're going to see Inspector Campbell. He gives a speech to the Birmingham police. And he's shaming them for looking the other way and taking the blinders payments.
Which I just want to say I really love. I don't know why. It's just kind of a cool. His very first lines are, "Babies discarded with the fish bones and eggshells. Girls, 11 years old, pierced and punctured by old men for 3p a time, rutted upon like animals." And just all this time, like all these guys are just kind of like, just like, it's just great. I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's rough, but he's telling the truth. I mean, we're seeing maybe not everything exactly that he's saying right there, but I mean,
we definitely didn't see all of that.
Thank God we didn't. But I mean, he's not lying though, man. I mean, he saw it firsthand the last scene that he was in. I mean, all these things happening at the nightlife of Small Heath. I mean, he knows what's up, man. And like you said, he blames them for looking the other way and tipping their cap to their masters, basically, who are letting it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame all around.
Yeah. I just thought that was a great way for him to come in. Just
he comes in hot.
Blazing,
yeah, he comes in hard.
Yeah. Let you know that he's not here on vacation.
Yeah.
He's here for business. Business or pleasure?
Both, we find out.
This is true. We do find out that later on. All right. So that was it. Season 1, episode 1, May 5th, 2021. Put it in the books. It's over with. If you want to hear the full thing, make sure to go back and check out the full episode. And while you're at it, check out the full library, all 6 seasons, plus this one coming up soon.
Listen to the later ones.
But make sure you listen to the first ones.
Yeah, listen to them all.
Be so confused.
Yeah.
Suffer with us. Join us on our journey as we suffered through the first couple of seasons of our awkwardness. Yeah. All right. This next part, Josh, is
I just keep waiting for you to play a clip. I'm sorry.
No, that was it. That was the end of the clips.
Okay.
No more clips. I've gotten rid of the program. That's why you couldn't hear me earlier. It's done.
All right.
Over with. Promise. No more clips.
All right.
Now we get on to the questions, the hard-hitting questions here, Josh. There's 2 sections of questions here. Not a whole lot of questions, but just a few. and they're just kind of basically for both of us, but I want to hear your answer first. Um, this is about the Peaky Blinders show just in general. So my first question to you is, what was your favorite season of the Peaky Blinders?
I gotta go 1 or 3.
Okay.
No, I'm going 1 or 2. I'm going 1 or 2.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, the later ones are great, but I just enjoy some of the conflicts in the earlier seasons more. Like I really like in season 2 when they start messing with Alfie, like for the
Yes.
first
Yeah.
time, you know.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. I would say season 2. Mine was either season 2. I wasn't a big fan of season 3. It was okay. I'm not saying I didn't like it.
I like 3
It
with
was
the
good.
Russians.
Yeah, it was good. It just wasn't my favorite. I would say season 2 or season 4 for me. I think
Yeah.
is my favorite. Maybe 5. I'll say season 2 and 4 though. All right, Josh. I think I might know the next answer to this question, but who's your favorite main character? What I mean by main character is basically the family. Because I would
Yeah.
say, wouldn't you agree that's basically the main characters?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. With this show, it's a tough one. Like, there's not a lot of. I don't know. I wouldn't say necessarily that I really have like a favorite character. I don't know that I would even say like Tommy's my favorite character. It'd probably be between him and Arthur, I guess.
Right.
But
See, that's what mine was. I would say between him and Arthur.
yeah,
John's good, but he only lasted for so long. And then Finn is Finn, of course, especially know what we know now.
well, the two of them both just have like complicated character arcs and stuff. You know,
True,
there's
this is true.
there's a lot more to the two of them.
What about favorite supporting character? So basically anybody outside of the family.
I like Johnny Dogs.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that one. I got to go with my boy Tom Hardy, Alfie Solomon's.
Yeah,
Hands
I
down.
mean that's yeah,
I think that would be consensus with everybody that's ever watched the show. But
yeah.
yeah, okay,
He's definitely my favorite like antagonist. You know,
right. So why Johnny Dogs?
I don't know. He's just like always been there since the first season. He like helps them get linked up with the Lees, kind of in the beginning, which is a big, a big source of manpower for them in the beginning, when they don't have a lot of men.
That's very true.
He's just, I don't know, he's loyal. He's always around when Tommy needs him to take care of something important. In the end, like he did what Tommy told him to and saved his life. I don't know. Yeah, I like Johnny Dogs. He never does anything shitty, like
This is true.
a lot of people like betraying each other and stuff and changing sides or informants or whatever. And yeah, he just always does his thing.
Okay. All right. All right. Who's your favorite enemy of the Shelby family? Now, when I say that, I was thinking of, when I thought of this question, I was thinking of like Billy Kimber, Luca, what's the dude in season 2, the Italian? Can't remember what his name. Sabini. People like that. Mosley, stuff like that.
Alfie Solomons.
Is he an enemy though? See, that's the thing about it. He's kind of like on the fence though.
In season 2, I feel like he is.
Okay. I'm not saying he's not. I just kind of like
they killed Billy. They threw Arthur in prison.
True. Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
because I guess in a way, he did start out kind of as an enemy.
Yeah, I mean, he does say many times later on that he and Tommy are friends.
Right?
But yeah,
okay.
He was. I mean, he was played that way in the second season.
True. Yeah. True. Who's your favorite actor on the show? Could be anybody.
Tom Hardy.
That's what I was going to say. I was either going to say Tom Hardy or Cillian Murphy. I think this is the first time I was like really introduced to Cillian Murphy. I've seen him in some movies, just like supporting roles more than anything. But yeah, I definitely got to go with Tom Hardy. You can't go wrong with Tom Hardy at all. All right, last question about the show here, and it pertains to the future. What do you hope to see in the upcoming movie? What's
I don't
something maybe
know.
they could explore or different stuff like that?
I mean, I don't know right off the top of my head what I would necessarily want to see and it'd be satisfying to me.
Right.
But I think, like, just in my head, I feel like it's going to be some years down the road, and like, even though, yeah, Tommy might be like, or Cillian Murphy's going to be reprising his role, I feel like it's going to be not about him.
Well, and that's kind of how I read it. It was they're still kind of sticking to the whole deal of like it's supposed to be during World War II, and it's a story that is happening during that time that involves the Peaky Blinders, but it almost made it sound like they weren't in the center of the movie and the action or everything. So I always kind of felt like if Cillian Murphy did come back to play Tommy, that he wouldn't be like the main guy. He would kind of be there, but kind of like off to the side a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you're saying, though. I'm just interested to see how the World War II thing plays into all of it.
Yeah.
So I'll be interested, especially with the way they did with World War One. Adding that with the the brothers' history from their war backgrounds, their flashbacks, the things that they dealt with coming home, different stuff like that. The wars or the battles that they fought in and such. All right, man. I got 3 more questions here, and these ones actually pertain to our podcast, the Red Right Hand podcast. So my first question for you is, if you could go back to the first episode, what would you tell yourself to do better?
I don't know. Turn off the damn TV.
That's what I was gonna say, man. That was my first thought. Was like, turn off the TV, man.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
first thing.
I like that answer, man. I like that answer. Okay. This next question may kind of link back to another question from earlier, but which season was your favorite to record on the podcast?
I think the last couple have been the most fun.
Okay. Just
I
because we
think-
got a little bit better at it, maybe.
yeah,
production
and
and
it's
everything.
just like looser.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's kind of like just an overview of the episode rather than
Step by
going
step.
through each little thing that most of the time doesn't even matter.
Well, and I felt like, especially these last couple of seasons, we got, like you're saying, we kind of got loose with it, but I felt like, we would talk about something, we kind of like divert a little bit and talk about maybe like a subject that was going on, or we talk about a person that they were talking about or whatever. We kind of expanded on the subject of the scene or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think I enjoyed that, and I would agree with that. I enjoyed the last couple of seasons the best because of that fact right there. So what did you learn? Well, let me back up. Is this your first time doing a podcast?
Yeah, let's just say, yeah, I
Okay.
did. I did like a brief one with a couple of friends for a little bit, but let's just say that.
This is your first official one. How about
Sure.
that? Okay. Same here. I think we did all right for 6 seasons worth, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, live and learn, right? So, speaking of learning, what did you learn about doing this podcast that you could apply to future podcasts that we do? Because we do have 2 new podcasts coming up.
It's like an exit interview for a job.
Exactly. This is the Red Right Hand Podcast exit interview.
What the hell was it? What did I learn, and how could I apply it to our future shows?
Or one of my favorite questions on like an interview is like, if a customer is mad and they have some complaints or whatever, what are you going to do about it? It's like, what do you want me to do? I don't know. Take care of it. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I would fix it.
I would fix it. Yeah. No, it's what did you learn? What did you learn about doing this podcast that you can apply to future podcasts that we do later on?
I mean, I guess just kind of, I mean, obviously it's still not perfect, but things that work and don't work, you know? Like a lot of
Right,
things we
yeah.
did the first few episodes didn't work, but we came up with more of, like, I don't know, it's just a better style that we have now, and I think we'll
Yeah.
kind of carry that attitude going forward.
I was about to say, I think it kind of ties to the last question. It's just like we got loose with it and we just kind of were like relaxed. I mean, I don't know how you were, but like me recording that first episode, if not like the first full season, I came in like every episode nervous. And you could probably tell by the way I was talking in those clips. I get like super fast and slurry, and I wanted to put in, I just didn't have enough time, but I almost put in like this collection of clips of like, I don't want to call, I mean, they're kind of like nervous ticks basically that like I was doing and like you were doing too. And I'm like, okay, you can tell we're having problems for sure, man. Like
I'm glad you didn't put that in.
yeah, I think like with me, mine was like you would say somebody's name like you introduce like Aunt Polly here. Now here's Aunt Polly. And I was always like, oh, Aunt Polly. And you're like, here's Billy Kimber. And I was like, oh, Billy Kimber. And you're like, here's Arthur. Hey, there's Arthur. I'm like, okay, shut up, man.
Repeating people's names.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah, this guy's not nervous at all. I lied. There was 3 questions. I actually thought of another one. Right in the middle of all these questions. What was, and this is for me personally, but what was your favorite Tinysode?
I don't know. There's
You got the real Peaky Blinders. You got the history of the IRA. You got the Shelby Brothers War background. You got the quiz show. You got the life and times of Oswald Mosley. And then like the Tinysode 6 was the Did You Know? The facts episode. The facts of life.
Probably the history of the IRA.
Okay.
But I got to be honest with you. I love a good Tinysode because I don't have to prep for it. I just come in here and I sit down and you tell me a story, and usually about something that I don't know. So
this is true. Like who played Inspector Campbell?
Yeah.
That was my favorite Tinysode for sure, was the quiz show, because it was just hilarious watching you just like lose it. Because I remember you started out so well with the questions. You had some really easy answers and everything. And I think when you got to Sam Neill is when you just started going downhill, man. And it was just like, nope, we're not coming back from this.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. That's it. That's gonna do it. That's gonna put a nice little bow on top of it. I think you can take this podcast, slap it between 2 pieces of bread, put it in your brown sack, and eat it for lunch tomorrow, man. We're done. That's it. Have no clue when we're gonna come back. I mean, we've got some things, right? We got some different ideas, but who knows when we'll come back. Like we said, though,
we'll put together a few episodes, but tell them about the others. Tell them about the other stuff.
We'll come back every once in a while. We won't leave you hanging. But yeah, we got 2 new podcasts coming out, people, really soon. This month, actually. First one we've got is a music podcast called History of the Cores, where we talk music in the core genre of hardcore, metalcore, math core, different stuff like that. Apple cores, maybe.
All the cores.
All the cores. Even your abs, your core.
Yeah, we're gonna talk abs.
We're gonna talk abs. And the other one is, do you have a name yet?
No. And honestly, it may just land here. if you may find yourself finding episodes of our new House of the Dragon show on the Red Right Hand podcast channel. So
what are you talking about?
yeah, but that's not 100%.
It's the Red Right Hand podcast. We're talking about House of Dragon. Like,
yeah, but if you're subscribed to the Red Right Hand podcast, you're gonna get a notification about anything that we post on there. Could be episodes of House of the Dragon. Could be a review over a couple of Peaky Blinders books. Could be me talking about the game that doesn't look that great, but
I can't wait for that.
We'll give
episode.
it a
That'd
go. We'll give it a go.
Hey, you can play it too. You can show us how crappy it is. How about that?
You can also play this game.
I'll be fine with that. I'll be down with that. Anyway, so yeah, we got the two new shows coming in. We'll just call it House of the Dragon podcast for now. That sounds kind of lame, but anyway,
I'm sure there's going to be a million of that.
Oh, you know there is.
That name.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. So there's those two new podcast shows that'll be coming up this month. But yeah, other than that, make sure to follow us on Twitter. This guy's glitching out over here. So I guess I'll go ahead and start with his at Joshua Lynn Gary on Twitter. You can also follow the show on the Red Right Hand podcast at Red Right Hand PO1 at Red Right Hand PO1. And you can also follow us on Twitter is Survived by Pro. That's at is Survived by Pro. That's where your one-stop shop to get all the notifications for the Red Right Hand podcast, the History of the Course podcast, and the House of the Dragon podcast. All three podcasts in one. So yeah, and also make sure to go check out our YouTube page, is Survived by Productions, or check out Red Right Hand podcast.
Let me ask you this.
And
why, as a human being, would you want to go and follow 3 different shows? Oh man, I heard about this one. I can't remember where that one's at. But they say they were putting this one on where the old show went. You just go on Twitter to is Survived by Pro.
That's what I'm talking about,
Survived by Pro. And that's where you're going to find information on all of those shows and anything else we do. You just go to the one place and it'll send you out to all the other places that you need to go.
That's why I was saying your one-stop shop for everything, for House of the Dragon podcast, for History of the Course podcast, for the Red Right Hand podcast. And best of all, my friend, hopefully the wait is soon coming to an end for those people who have sat here patiently and waited for Ghost Lad 676 to hit us up on Twitter with a stream. My God, is there any light at the end of the tunnel, Josh?
Yeah. I'll do one this week. I don't know what it's gonna be.
We've heard that story before, Josh.
It could be anything. I'm not gonna promise you it's gonna be something great. It could be anything.
5 minutes. 5 minutes of your time. That's all we're asking for at the minimum.
Okay. Yep. This week you'll get the long-awaited stream.
All right. You heard it here first. But you got to go over to Twitch, people. You got to get the app. You got to get on there. You got to type on the keyboard, GhostLad676. And hey, if you give him a follow, if we get a bunch of people to follow him, maybe he'll wake up and say, you know what? Maybe I should do this Twitch thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's it. I think I covered everything, right?
Oh God, I hope so.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that we might have missed, man. So, all right. Till next time, whenever that is, we'll see you.
See you.